Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal astrology forecast for the week of July 18th to the 24th of 2022. All right, so this week we are essentially having some sign changes. We've got the Sun and Mercury slowly entering Cancer at the beginning of the week. So we are starting a new focus, a new theme for the upcoming weeks, and it is on Cancer, which is about creating a protective environment for ourselves and others, getting more into our caring and nurturing side. More of that connecting to the emotional aspects of life is likely the shift. Venus, though, is going to be still, it's going to be entering Gemini, still placing a theme on Gemini where the Sun and Mercury were. And so in this case, still good to be enjoying things like learning, maybe sharing, exchanging information with others, communication, things like this that are more mental and communicative can be quite enjoyable and a great way of connecting for these upcoming weeks as well, with Venus shifting into Gemini. But at the beginning of the week, this Sun Mercury are going to be opposing up to deep Pluto. It's part of the full moon that we had last Wednesday. So whatever got illuminated around last Wednesday's full moon, regarding what we can empower ourselves with, maybe face some fears, maybe make some empowering changes in our life. This will likely get activated again, and I think in a very positive way, where we could be perhaps regaining that power, empowering ourselves to make some transformations and changes, to face fears, things like this around the Monday, Tuesday time period. Chiron is also going to be going retrograde, nothing major, but the next 6 months, maybe taking a bit of a break with some of the healing stuff, especially if it has been more emphasized the past 6 months, and good to maybe internalize it a little bit, maybe try different things with healing, be a bit flexible, try new things with that retrograde. All right, and then the rest of the energy is concentrated at the end of the week around Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, Mercury, the planet of our mind and communication, will be trining expansive Jupiter. So a bit of an open mind, a bit of a free-spirited mind is available that weekend, maybe a bit adventurous as well. And Venus squaring Jupiter going into Sunday, but that's just adding to that energy we'll talk about. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, July 18th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. For example, you can see Pisces is a very large constellation. Aries is a much smaller one. And in mainstream, they use 30 degrees for all the signs, so they make them all the same size. But this does change the sky. And so if you are new to this channel, definitely check out the link down below for more information on using the visible sky, called True Sidereal Astrology. All right, so let's do a bit of a recap here, because we do have these sign changes right at the beginning of the week. So first, the Sun and Mercury will be entering Cancer. May have felt this back on Sunday, but they are starting to shift this early part of the week. So the theme is shifting, the focus is shifting, and in this case, on the coming about few weeks, more of a focus on the protective qualities of life. So Cancer the Crab is all about creating that protective environment. It rules things like home, family, our private lives, the past, our soul, roots, things of this nature. So great to be focused on these more personal elements of life, maybe protective energies, the caring energies for ourselves and others. These kinds of things can be great to develop during this theme at the moment. And Venus will be entering Gemini as they leave, so the theme will still be on, as it has been, on learning and using our practical minds, and perhaps that communication. So in this case, though, perhaps starting to enjoy it, value it, and connect in that way in our relationships. And Mars is well set in Aries now, so likely what we felt last week as well is that there is more fire, relatively speaking, and to the months prior to that, while Mars was in Pisces. And so there is this more fiery nature, easier for action, initiative, assertiveness, moving things forward, strong energy around independence as well, which is also great to utilize. All right, so the energies this week, not a whole lot going on astrologically, but some important things nonetheless. Coming into the week, we do have the Sun and Mercury opposite up to Pluto. This will probably be the first few days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And it's very symbolic for what we had during the full moon, because last Wednesday we had the full moon opposite Pluto as well. And so in this case now, the Sun and Mercury are just going to go over their exact positions with that opposition. So Pluto is the planet of transformation. It is the planet of empowerment. And in oppositions, it can sometimes seem like either from an outside force or an outside person or an outside thing we can see it's opposite us that can be prompting or catalyzing us to empower ourselves to make changes. So anything that we are seeing reflected back to us from either our external environment, from others, relationships, or even everyday energies like the shadow of life, the deeper part of life, our own fears perhaps being reflected back to us, or situations that are pulling that out of us. This could be the theme, and essentially it's what we could say is Pluto is helping us be aware of, through the opposition, those deeper things that are holding us back, the things we're chained to, like our own fears, right? Our own inhibitions, maybe wounds, maybe traumas, whatever it is, the shadow, the deeper side. And so in this way, by being aware of it, it's much easier, and we're prompted to make shifts and changes, right? Make shifts and changes, do the status check that all oppositions are about, really, and then make shifts and changes to reclaim that power, face those fears, and as a result, really feel transformed. And it's very likely, as we start to get into the Wednesday and onward time period, we'll probably feel quite healed or transformed or empowered with that opposition there. All right, and it is going to be coinciding with Chiron going retrograde, which is the healer comet. And so it's very normal here, but for the next 6 months, it happens every year, the next 6 months, it could mean getting a bit of a break, actually, with some of the deeper healing stuff, if it has been more prominent for you the past 6 months. But in general, it's good to maybe internalize it a little bit during the retrograde, kind of approach healing differently. If it is a theme in your life, maybe kind of reflect on it a little bit, internalize a little bit, maybe get a little bit of a break with it. These are the themes we could notice. And Tuesday, there's just a bit of a pause, a bit of a shift with some of these things with that Chiron retrograde. All right, so with this, we do have the moon in Pisces these first few days up and through Wednesday. So as a backdrop to all of this, there might be some themes around working with uncertainty, or being in the ethers a little bit. And so things like our intuition, our emotions, our empathy can be quite heightened. It's the imaginative, spiritual energies. And so here it's about connecting to that side of life. Perhaps living presently is a great way of working with it. Perhaps spiritual activities, perhaps practicing things like compassion and acceptance for ourselves and others. These kinds of things can be very good these first few days with that. All right, and then as we do get to the Thursday time, then we'll probably notice a little bit more of the fire energy, and we will be in the third quarter moon of the lunar cycle, which is usually a more active-oriented phase of the cycle. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, probably more in the active phase of things, where we could be implementing the insights from the full moon from last Wednesday. And so in this case, we might start to feel it with Thursday, the moon in Aries conjunct Mars, getting into that, or activating what we could say, what we were talking about earlier, about that initiative, that active, that independent side that is certainly quite strong, or can be quite strong, relatively speaking to the prior months with Mars there. And then once we do get to about Friday, there will be a shift from the fire into the more earthy. And so for the whole weekend, late Friday through Sunday, the moon very well placed here, exalted here in Taurus, which is great for this more resourceful energy, taking things a bit slowly and steadily, maybe stopping to smell the roses, enjoying the simple life, maybe connecting to nature, essentially cultivating and connecting to our inner and outer resources is a great way of working with the moon here, and we could notice some themes around that. Plus, we do have here around Saturday a nice trine. Mercury, the more practical mind, is in good harmony with a trine to Jupiter, the more expansive mind. So practicality and abstraction in good support and good harmony. And so it could be great to let the mind wander in a way that's maybe a bit adventurous, like open-minded, philosophy, things like astrology, perhaps in our day-to-day routines, doing some adventurous things. There's a bit of support for that as well. Okay, and Moon still in Taurus on Sunday, and as we get to the later part of Sunday, Venus will be squaring the Jupiter, so maybe some of the enjoyments, maybe some of the things that we could be enjoying in life. Late Sunday, just good to find the balance with, because squares to Jupiter can sometimes be overindulgence, or maybe not enough indulgence, or too much optimism or not enough optimism. And so with Venus, it's usually the values, the things we're enjoying, and even our relationships. So if there is any pendulum swings like that going into Monday, it's great to be conscious of them and work on it constructively. There's, constructive, healthy ways of enjoying things in life, our values, our relationships, and Jupiter squares can be very constructive with that intention. All right, everyone. So that is the week in a nutshell. Essentially, we are, as a week as a whole, we are sort of in this third quarter moon of implementing, challenging ourselves to implement energies from the last full moon last Wednesday. Could actually be a very constructive week, and we're usually more willing to put in those actions during this later phase of the lunar cycle. But the early part of the week, up and through about Wednesday, we have those oppositions to Pluto. Also from the full moon, which is about empowering ourselves, making shifts and changes that are more empowering in our lives. And a little bit of a pause or a shift with the healing energies if those are active for you. And then towards the weekend, we've got the more resourceful energies of Taurus with a bit of an expansive mind, at least available, maybe some enjoyment, some of that adventurousness over the weekend. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, it is a free newsletter where you do get these videos released first before YouTube and extra content not normally released on YouTube. So if you're not yet signed up, it's absolutely free. There's a link down below for that. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you again, and I'll see you all next week for the next astrology forecast. Take care.